Emma! How are you, Emma?
Hi, David.
Golly, I
How
haven't
are
seen you in a long
you?
time.
Oh, I know. It has been a long time.
How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing wonderful today. Wonderful. And I want to ask you, what is a guy from Hollywood, way out there, Weston, California,
Oh, yeah.
doing here on a bike trail, on a bike in
Uh-huh.
Bloomington, Indiana?
Well, you know, you got to get your exercise right. Well,
You okay?
I could say that I came all this way because these are the best bike trails in the United States of America.
That's a good answer.
I think only Wisconsin has as much devotion to bicycling. I could say that because it's true.
Yeah.
The Clear Creek Trail, running along a creek that really is clear,
Yeah.
is a really good ride. In fact, the scenery here is better than Wisconsin. The Wisconsin trails may be longer, like Elroy Sparta or Military Ridge, but they're just straight, boring.
Yeah, and we're like curvy and hills
Yeah.
and trees and
And farms.
farms.
I rode by some cows. There was a guy out there milking his cow, you know.
Cool.
It was great. So I could say that, but the truth is, I ended up in Indiana because my wife is doing a play at the Indiana Repertory Theater in Indianapolis, King Lear.
Ah.
She plays one of the nasty daughters,
Oh no.
Regan. And I came to be here, or there, in Indianapolis for her opening night back on March 3rd. And as a result of that, it was the first time in 33 years that I've ever missed the Oscars.
Oh my stars, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Oscar man
Yeah,
in person,
that's me,
Mr. David Sheehan,
but not this year.
but not this year.
Well, I was the Oscar man this year because what I do primarily is a pre-show or an Oscar Academy Awards preview where I interview all of the nominees, all the major nominees anyway,
George
about
Clooney.
George Clooney, especially
Yeah.
my old buddy George. And I kind of handicap and tabulate who's likely to win, and I have about a 90% accuracy rate.
Wow.
I was wrong about Crash, though. I did
wow.
not think Crash was going to win, although I'm happy it did. It certainly deserves the Best Picture Oscar. But I was figuring, like everybody else, Brokeback Mountain, because it won all the other awards, so there was momentum
Yeah.
built up.
Yeah.
And but it didn't come through.
No.
So even though Ang Lee won Best Director, so you can't be right about everything.
No.
But I picked all the other ones.
Well, there you go. That's all that came.
So my percentage wasn't too bad. But it was kind of exciting to be here to lend support to the wife
Yeah.
on her opening night,
Yeah.
which we've had like a 15-year tradition. I've never missed one of her opening nights, where no matter where it may be, New York, Wisconsin. As I said, she played in the American Players Theater, doing Lady Macbeth and George Bernard Shaw's Candida and Moliere's Tartuffe,
Wow.
which is a giant regional theater outside of Madison. And here and there, L.A. Of course, I'm always at her opening nights in L.A.
Right,
because that's where we live. But we also have a place in New York, so it's kind of bi-coastal now. And I did not want to come to this part of the country. I have to be honest with you. When
Especially in the wintertime.
I know with the winter. I don't care that much about the weather. But when she said, "Hey, I got a job on doing King Lear, playing the daughter, in someplace called the Indiana Repertory Theater," I said, "Well, where's that?" And,
That sounds
and she
normal.
said, "That's in Indianapolis, Indiana." I said, "Oh God, who wants to go to Indianapolis? It's in the middle of nowhere. It's not much of a town." This was my prejudice now.
Right, right.
And I went to school at Notre Dame in South Bend,
Oh, really?
so I'm not unfamiliar with Indiana. But even when I was in college, when we guys wanted to jump in the car and go somewhere for fun, somebody once said, "Well, we don't want to go south because that's Indian no place, and we don't want to go down there. Let's go to Chicago." Or so we would go to Chicago, or sometimes all the way up to Milwaukee. But Indianapolis had kind of a bad reputation as being a boring place to be. So I had no desire to come here. But it's opening night, and we have a tradition, so
That's true.
I have to jump on the airplane and turn in all my credentials for the Oscars. So I'm not going to be working the Oscars for the first time in
Right.
33 years, which is what happened. And I jumped in a plane, came here, and totally fell in love with the place. I mean, this is the best city I have ever lived in, visited. I've been here now a month. I was supposed to go
Right.
back a week later, but I'm still here.
Well, there you go. That's what happens. That's what happens.
There's something about this city. I've never seen a more people-friendly city than Indianapolis, and that attitude extends south here to Bloomington. Just such things as the way they keep and groom the bike paths, for example, and it's very oriented to walking around, walking up down the creek down here in Bloomington, walking up and down the White River in Indianapolis, and all the trails up there, the Monon Trail, goes all the way up, and the White River Greenway, they call it, and the way the whole city is situated now, with these wonderful museums clustered on one side of Washington Street, down by the river. You know, the Indiana Art Museum, the History Museum, the Native American Museum, the NCAA Hall of Champions, all that stuff. And then directly across the street, you can just walk over. You got the RCA Dome and the Conseco Center and the Victory Field for the Indianapolis Indians. So you got the sports fans on one side, the artsy folks on the other side. And you know what? They get along all right.
Yeah, they do.
They do. They
Yeah,
they go in some bars down the street. They have a drink together, have a beer, you know, and there's a lot of peace and love between the artsy and the sportsy. So and on top of that, it's a beautiful city to look at. The skyline's gorgeous. It's very clean. It's easy to get around. It's got the big city feel. If you want that, you know, you got a nice sense of being in a big city, but it's not too big. Like I'm from LA, and my goodness, that place goes on forever. It's a city for beyond a city, but it's one big suburb. You know, there must be about 700 suburbs, and that's supposed to make a city, and it doesn't. Even though I love it, and that's where I made my livelihood for 35 years on television, and that's where my audience is, so I don't want to put it down.
No.
But by comparison, Indianapolis is a dream place to live and be. In fact, I'm going to buy a condo here in Indianapolis.
What? There you go.
I'll have another little home, and you can buy a condo for like $65,000, an incredible price. In LA, the same thing would cost you $2 million, and not be nearly as appealing. So
Well, I mean, we got John Mellencamp, and now David. Hey.
Well, yeah, the history of the people, the Hoagie Carmichael, the Kevin Kline, the Cole Porter, Abraham Lincoln. I mean,
it goes on and on and on.
When you start reading the books, like I'm reading one of the books called Off the Beaten Path, Indiana, and like that, it feels almost like Indiana is the center of the entire universe.
It is.
Yeah, I guess so.
It is now.
Well, that's what I believe now. I'm like a born-again Hoosier. It's almost like a religion, you know. It's a place that I never dreamt would be so embracing and enjoyable, and I'm getting my exercise on my bicycle.
There you go.
I got to know a lot of people. The people are great. The architecture is terrific. The mix of old and new is
it's gorgeous.
Wonderful combination. You come down here to Bloomington, you got all the academic, scholarly stuff going on campus. You got all the activities of the young people, and
there you go.
In and out of their pizza joints and beer bars and whatever. And it's a great area of the country. And I cannot believe that I was so prejudiced that I said, it's in the middle of nowhere, I don't want to go there. You know what I mean? That's very strange. And my cell phone just went off, so that must mean Hollywood is calling me.
It must. It must.
Let me see if that was an important call or not. If it was, let's see, who might this be? I'm expecting a call from Tom Hanks.
Oh, I love him.
Oh, right. No, it's from George Clooney's office. Not George.
What? That's even better.
Not George himself.
Oh, man.
Just his secretary.
Oh, well.
But, in fact, George and I had the interesting story when I was on the Channel 4 NBC News in L.A., out in Burbank many years ago when I first was starting out. The man next to me on the table when I would do my reports at the anchor desk
Was his dad?
Was his dad, Nick Clooney.
That's right, because he was a reporter.
He was the anchorman.
Yeah.
He was the chief anchorman.
Anchorman.
And he one day asked me something about, he wanted me to meet his boy, who at the time I think was about 18 or so, and I said, he wants to be an actor. I wanted him to be a journalist or Edward R. Murrow when he grows up. But he wants to be an actor. and can you help him all? And I said, well, I don't know. I'm not really my end of things, but I'll check it out. So I gave him some workshop acting coaches and things like that to get started with, and look what he's become.
There you go.
So I had a little hand in that.
Woohoo!
Very little, but I was there at the beginning.
And
Now he's gone on to make all these movies. And strangely enough, he
Another-
went on to make the
yeah,
Edward R.
the
Murrow.
Murrow.
Yeah. So,
There you go. Then, yeah, good night and good luck.
good night and good luck. Okay. Well, thank you for having me on your show, Emma.
Well,
Is there
thank
anything else you want me to talk about?
No, I think you covered it pretty well.
I tried to.
Yeah, well,
right.
I just appreciate you coming and being here with all us little people. And
You're nothing little about you people. We're all the same size, and the hearts, I think, are larger here.
oh, well, we try.
A lot of big hearts.
We try.
And good hearts.
Oh, yeah.
And I really appreciate that. And I'll be back, as Arnold once said.
There you go. There you go.
All right.
Well, I appreciate it. And
Okay.
that'll do it for On the Inside. This time around, I'd like to thank my very special new friend, Mr. David Sheehan.
My pleasure.
And I will see everybody later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Cool.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it.
Nothing in common. Yeah, he was really my very first interview. I was so nervous. We were at the premiere in Old Century City, and they used to have movie theaters there across the. And I thank you so much for being so sweet, and I appreciate it. Okay, anything I can do for you anytime, let me know. Okay, thanks. Bye. Up in the cold weather. I mean, do you realize it's snowing and I'm riding a bicycle? It's insane, right? Oh, you know what? When I'm interviewing people, by the way, back in Hollywood from one of my shows, the one thing I always kind of get bothered by is my buddy, my smoking buddy, Jack Nicholson, because he's always wearing sunglasses. And I just realized I wore sunglasses during our entire interview, and that's against all my rules. And I did the same thing, and I didn't mean any harm by it.
Well, that's all right.
Once I told Jack, could you take off the sunglasses for the interview? And he said, David, this is the way I live. You want to interview me or somebody else? So I said, no, keep the glasses, keep the glasses. So,
Yeah, there you go.
and
There you
but
go.
it's so funny, I did the same thing. I was wearing sunglasses, not even thinking about it because the sun is setting, and I'm driving all the way over here, right into the setting sun on the west side. The sun does set on the west side, you may remember, even in Indiana.
Cool.
This is David Sheehan live from uptown, midtown, downtown, Bloomington, Indiana for CBS, NBC, and what's that other one where I work now? ABC Television. Good night and good luck.